It was almost midnight when Clara woke up to the sound of a train whistle. But that was strange. There was no train near her house. Only trees, a small road, and lots of stars. She climbed out of bed and tiptoed to the window. And there it was. A train, long and glowing, waiting quietly in the middle of her backyard. No smoke. No rails. Just soft lights and golden mist that swirled around its wheels. Clara grabbed her blanket and opened the door. The grass was cool under her feet. The train didn't make a sound, but the door of the first carriage opened slowly, as if it had been waiting. Above the door, in swirly golden letters, were the words, "The train that travels through dreams." A conductor stood in the doorway. He was tall and wore a long silver coat. His face was calm and kind, with eyes like moonlight. "Are you ready?" he asked softly. Clara blinked. "Ready for what?" The conductor smiled. "For wherever your dreams wish to go." And with that, Clara stepped inside. The inside of the train glowed like morning sunlight on warm tea. Clara stepped softly onto a velvet floor that shimmered with tiny stars. The walls were curved and golden, and every window showed not the outside world, but the sky above the clouds. The conductor gestured gently to the first carriage. "This is where dreams begin," he said. "The carriage of wishes." The door opened with a soft click. Inside were hundreds of glowing bottles floating in the air, twirling, bobbing, sparkling like fireflies. Each one contained a tiny scene: a girl flying with butterflies, a boy walking on the moon, a puppy made of jelly beans chasing its tail. Clara walked among the bottles, her eyes wide with wonder. Then one of the bottles floated toward her. Inside, she saw a version of herself, not older, not younger, but braver. The Clara in the bottle stood atop a mountain made of books, arms wide open, wind in her hair. She reached for it. The moment her fingers touched the glass, it gently disappeared, and the light sank into her heart like a soft song. The conductor spoke again. "You may only keep the wishes that already belong to you." The next carriage was darker, quieter. Clara stepped in and gasped. The walls were covered in stars, real ones, twinkling and shifting slowly. The floor sparkled like sand under moonlight, and floating in the center of the room was something strange. A large glowing scroll rolled open in midair. The conductor appeared beside her and spoke softly. "This is the map of nowhere." Clara tilted her head. "Nowhere?" The conductor smiled. "It's where all lost dreams go, until someone remembers them." The map shimmered, revealing swirling trails that led through floating mountains, upside-down waterfalls, forests made of music, and cities built on clouds. One path glowed brighter than the others. "That's your trail," the conductor said. "But be careful. Every step forward must be chosen." Clara reached toward the map. The stars around her flickered in response, like they were watching. Then, the glowing trail began to move, curling and shifting until it formed a doorway made of light. Without thinking, Clara walked through it. The moment she did, the stars blinked once more, and the map faded behind her. Clara stepped through the glowing doorway and found herself standing in a forest made of moonlight. The trees shimmered silver and gold, and their leaves didn't rustle. They hummed, like lullabies whispered by wind. The path beneath her feet sparkled with soft light, but strangely, it didn't hold her footprints. She knelt to touch the ground. It felt like air, cool and kind. Ahead, something glowed behind the trees. She followed. Tiny lanterns floated gently between the branches. Inside each one was a memory, not hers, but someone's. She passed one showing a boy laughing on a swing, another of a girl chasing fireflies. They drifted like bubbles, glowing softly in the dark. Then Clara saw a lantern shaped like a teardrop. It hovered just in front of her, trembling slightly. Inside, she saw herself. Alone. Sitting in her room, holding a drawing of a train, her eyes full of quiet hope. Clara touched the lantern. It didn't vanish. It pulsed, gently, and a soft breeze swept through the forest, carrying 1,000 more lights into the sky. The path ahead began to rise, curving upward like a bridge made of starlight. And Clara followed. As Clara walked along the rising bridge of starlight, the forest slowly faded behind her. The sky opened wide. She was now walking through clouds made of light. Beneath her feet, the bridge shimmered like silver glass. Above her, stars whispered, soft and patient, like friends who had been waiting. At the end of the bridge stood a tiny train station floating in space. There were no walls. Only a roof shaped like a crescent moon and benches carved from glowing stone. Clara stepped onto the platform, and the starlight bridge behind her disappeared. Waiting on one of the benches was a woman made of stars. Her body shimmered gently, like moonlight on water, and her voice sounded like every bedtime story Clara had ever loved. "You've come far," said the woman, smiling. Clara nodded. "But I don't know where I'm going." The woman reached out and placed her hand over Clara's heart. "That's all right," she said. "Most dreams don't begin with answers. They begin with trust." The stars above swirled slowly, forming a spiral. In the center of it, a small silver train appeared, quiet, glowing, waiting. The woman stood up and whispered, "Your next ride is ready." The stars above swirled slower now, as if they were holding their breath. Clara stood beside the glowing woman as a faint sound filled the air, not loud, not fast, but steady, like a lullaby on rails. Through the spiral of stars came a small train made of silver light. Its engine glided with no smoke, no steam, just gentle pulses of glow that matched Clara's heartbeat. It stopped beside the platform without a sound. The door opened on its own. The glowing woman turned to Clara and said, "This train won't take you where you want to go." Clara blinked. "Then, why should I get on?" The woman smiled. "Because it will take you where you need to be." Clara took a deep breath. The stars shimmered in quiet encouragement. She stepped forward. Inside the train was different. No more floating bottles, no more glowing scrolls. Just a single seat beside a round window, and soft cushions that smelled like home. As she sat down, the train began to move. Outside, the stars moved backward. Clouds drifted past, and the silver rails curved gently into the unknown. Clara didn't feel afraid. She felt ready. The silver train moved slower now. Clara sat quietly, her cheek resting on the window as soft stars passed by like dandelion seeds in the wind. The silence wasn't empty, it was gentle, full of things that didn't need words. Then, the train began to slow. Outside, a station appeared, but this one was different. It wasn't in the clouds, or space, or light. It looked like her own backyard, only softer, quieter, like a memory. The train stopped, and the door opened. Clara stepped out and found herself in a place she almost remembered, a garden filled with the scent of warm flowers, the sound of wind chimes, and the golden air of evening. In the center stood a tall tree with glowing leaves. Beneath the tree was a small table. On it lay a book. She opened it. The pages were filled with pictures, not drawings, but memories. Her first laugh, her first fall, her favorite bedtime story, her tears, her hugs. Clara turned the pages slowly, and then she saw a page with no picture. just a soft glow. She touched it. And in that moment, she remembered something she hadn't yet lived. A whisper of who she was becoming. Clara sat beneath the glowing tree for a long time. She didn't cry. She didn't laugh. She just listened, to the wind, to the memories, to herself. Then, a soft chime rang out, like a bell made of stars. Clara turned. The silver train had returned, glowing gently at the edge of the garden. Its door opened, and warm light spilled out. She stood, gave one last look to the book, and walked toward the train. Inside, the seat was the same. But the window was different. This time, it didn't show stars. It showed a sunrise. Golden clouds. Birds flying. The shimmer of morning dew. The conductor wasn't there. Only the seat. The window. The warmth. Clara closed her eyes. When she opened them, she was in her bed. Sunlight peeked through her curtains. A bird chirped from a branch nearby. The closet was closed. But on her blanket, resting quietly, was a tiny glowing thread of silver light, like the soft tail of a dream that had not quite let go. She smiled. And she remembered everything.